Well, welcome back to Bullet and Banter, episode 8. And if you're new to watching any of these, the Bullet is my Royal Enfield motorcycle, which I affectionately call Edna. And the Banter is, well, the Banter. So thanks again for watching and bearing with me as I find my way around the technology and, of course, doing intros. Well, today we're off to see my good friend. Well, today we're off to see a drumming acquaintance. Not an acquaintance. Well, today we're off to see one of my drumming friends. Today we're off to see my friend Colin Woolway, drummer and friend. Today we're heading up to Twickenham to go and oh, here comes a car. Well, today to go and see my friend and drummer, lovely guy. Can't wait for you to meet him. Oh dear. Well, it's not too difficult to make mistakes with technology, and there are quite a lot of things to think about. But you can't afford to make too many mistakes riding a motorcycle, that's for sure. I found this fun little quote by Evel Knievel, the famous American stunt rider, who said, "The older I get, the faster I was. There are old bikers and there are bold bikers, but there are no old bold bikers." There's Sandown Raceway. Hey! This is our lucky day.
It is.
Friday the 13th.
Is it Thursday? All right.
So how have you been?
Since I last saw you. When did I last see you? So did I tell you I had lung cancer?
You're kidding? No.
No. So I haven't seen you for a couple of years.
You've had lung
I've had it, yeah.
And you
and a colon operation. I had all kinds of things.
Oh my goodness. Are you okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well,
it
that's
was all a bit dramatic. To cut a long story short, they cut half a lung off this side and looked at it and said, "Yeah, that's definitely cancer. Throw that away." Fortunately, they operated on the colon and they said that's not cancer, but we're glad we took it out because we don't like it.
Don't like the look of that.
Don't like the look of that. And they threw that away and said, "You're lucky because the cancer hasn't spread anywhere. So we'll just monitor you for the next 5 years.
Oh, Colin.
Make sure nothing crops up."
I'm so
that was 2021. And I'm still being monitored and everything's fine.
Did you have chemo or radiotherapy or anything?
They literally cut it out.
Went for surgery.
Yeah.
Found it. Well, what a relief.
The NHS were fantastic.
I don't know if I mentioned to you.
Yeah, you've had your share, haven't you?
I had prostate cancer.
Yeah. I saw you at a drum show when you were recovering.
They did the treatment early 2016.
Right.
I think that's
maybe it is that
the timeline.
Yeah. For several months.
Typical male thing, really, isn't it?
You just feel.
Oh, we're fine. I'm fine. I carry on.
Yes.
And actually,
then you're falling asleep at 9:30.
You don't realise, what it's taken out of you on other levels. Oh, here we are.
This was my other choice.
Cappuccino, and I'm an Americano. Colin, would you like something to eat? Or he said, "Kate, let's have those, and we can cut them in half." What do you reckon? Is this our spot?
Yeah. Well done. Well done. Good to see you.
It's nice to see anyone again after these crazy few years. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Well done. Well done for making it this far.
Yeah. One for you.
My kids laugh at me because I'm always spilling food.
Do you know, I can't eat on a plane. I don't know how people eat on planes. I get up at the end of the plane ride and I'm literally, it's literally all down me. Whatever I warn, there's spillage, crumbs. Oh my goodness. Well, we've been in the game for a long old time, you and I. You started drumming were you in your teens or early?
No, I was about 11.
11 years old.
Yeah. So that's...
Was that your first drum kit? Or
No. Well, yes, it was when I did get a kit. There were drum lessons after school on a Tuesday. So I thought that looked like fun. But actually they were percussion lessons. It was snare drum and timpani and...
Well, it would have been, because back in those days there was no training for rock playing, was there?
No.
And so what year would that have been, do you mind me asking?
71?
71.
So I've always been older than you.
You've always been older than me. You've always been ahead of the curve.
Yeah, well, he was a teacher with a capital T, but he wasn't a drummer.
Right.
And he was very good, probably more of an influence than I realised at the time. Patience was legendary. So although I wasn't playing the drum set, I was having fun. It was good to do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, when I was at school, I signed up for drum lessons too, and my teacher there was a trumpet player.
Oh, right.
In a local dance band.
Right.
But again, you know, he was basically an encouragement rather than... And I remember, Colin, I turned up in platform shoes. This was the 70s, you know, when Elton John was in the big shoes and I had some. He said, you can't play the drums in those. You're going to have to take those off. I thought, this is so rock and roll. I need to have these on. But of course, I couldn't get my foot under the bass drum pedal with it, you know. But you played and toured with Suzi Quatro.
Yeah.
How did you get the gig?
There's no quick
Did you
answer.
slip somebody some cash?
It's right time, right place. It's one of those stories.
Yeah.
But that's because I was touring with theatre shows like Godspell and the Rocky Horror Show on tour with Joseph, the amazing tenor.
West End touring shows.
Yeah, it was the Rocky Horror Show, not a Rocky Horror Show. It was the one that came out of the West End.
Wow, yeah. Did you leave school and become a professional?
Yeah, I left school at 16.
Yeah.
And started to get work. Because there was work.
Yeah.
Not because I was particularly good. I was just cheap. But there was work. You know, there was lots of work, lots of pubs, restaurants. After 3 years of touring with theatre shows, I took a break and I got a job in a music shop selling drums.
In Chelmsford?
In Chelmsford. And the reason this is relevant is because Suzi Quatro had been touring for 12 years and she decided to have a break to have kids, which meant her husband, who was her guitar player and manager, had nothing to do. And he would come into the shop and literally prop the counter up. And Suzi would occasionally drop in the shop looking for him.
Yeah.
There was a Tuesday night rock and roll band in a local pub. And we'd go and watch this band, and occasionally Suzi would come and play. And occasionally I would sit in on the drums, and occasionally Suzi and I were sitting in at the same time. And when she wanted to go back on the road, her drummer, the late, great Dave Neal, didn't want to do it. So I was standing there.
You were there, ready, right time, right place. Isn't that interesting? Because, you know, lots of times over my musical career, I have looked back and thought, how do I get my next gig?
Yeah,
and actually,
it gets you.
It gets you. Yeah. It gets you, and it's all about your relational network.
Yeah,
isn't it? Some people say, well, you know, it's all about the way you play. Well, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's all about whether they can sit on a bus with you.
Yeah. Just get out there, go to open mic nights, go to jam nights, sit in with people, and just be polite. Just going back to Suzi, to your original question, what was a little bit of a game changer was when I realised how good a musician she was and what a good band leader she was. She wanted it to be absolutely right.
People make that assumption of rock and roll, don't they? They don't realise how hard people work.
She was a great band leader as well. It was great to work for her.
That whole camaraderie that you're talking about, being in the band, getting into the detail of the music,
Yeah.
working that stuff, that professionalism.
Just being a musician. I'm a musician.
Listen, I think time's moving on.
Okay.
So let's head back.
Okay.
This is your room.
This is my room.
This is fantastic, though, isn't it?
No.
These are the rudiments you were telling us about that
Yes.
are not.
They're not rudimentary.
They're not rudimentary. Colin Woolway, legend.
Legend.
What are these?
So these are silent sticks,
Oh,
and they help.
do they work?
Yeah, they help keep my neighbours happy.
Fantastic. Who makes these?
A company called Adero, I think.
Oh.
I get them from Tony O'Malley.
Oh yes. Oh, Tony Alley.
Tony O'Malley. Tonally.
Tonally.
See what he did there?
Yeah. We do a trade. 3, 4, and yeah. Ready? Beautiful. 1, 2.
Two old boys counting to 4.
Two old boys didn't count to 4. And what was that joke again?
I've got the Turkish dance band drummer who got sacked for not keeping the backbeat on the 2 and the 5.
There we go. Oh, Colin, it's been
Bob Armstrong
brilliant,
told me that.
brilliant to spend a bit of time with you. Thanks for having me.
There's, I mean, it's a little bit of inspiration. There's Bob Armstrong.
Well, how good was that? It was great to see Colin, and I was particularly grateful that he opened up about some of the stuff he'd been through. It's tough stuff and makes you think about what really matters. But I really enjoyed the part of the conversation when we were talking about opportunity, and he said how it finds you. And I loved that, and I hope in this life, with all its twists and turns, that good opportunity finds you. So thanks so much again for watching, and I hope you'll join us again next time. GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording.